what was the most fuel-efficient analog Mercedes ever produced? Mercedes has had a lot of fuel-efficient cars recently. You can go buy an E320 CDI that gets 40 miles per gallon. You could go buy an electric Mercedes that doesn't use any fuel. You can go out and buy a Sprinter van that, relative to other large vans, gets outstanding fuel economy. But Mercedes at one point in time was still a small, fuel efficiency was important, but it was still sort of a small part of Mercedes engineering. And so Mercedes had made fuel efficient cars prior to 1983. But fuel efficiency was typically almost a byproduct of their diesel program. In other words, diesels are naturally fuel efficient, and even when you try to make them inefficient, it's extremely hard unless you're really pushing them. Now, the whole problem with Mercedes diesels up until the 190D, hinting at this a little bit, came out, was that the cars relied on somewhat heavy bodies, heavy engines, not as much aerodynamics. They didn't use 5-speed transmissions or highway gears, tall highway gears. The typical Mercedes diesel from the time had a tall rear end, so it would really work to run at speeds over 60 miles an hour. They almost all had 4-speed manuals until the 240D and 300D non-turbo. 5 speeds. The 240D and 300D non-turbo 5 speeds came out in approximately 1980 or 81. I think it was 81. And to make matters even a little bit more complicated, these cars were never available in the United States. So even though CAFE regulations are important here, Mercedes never sent a 5-speed manual 240D to the States. They should have, and I don't understand why they did. This is one of those great mysteries of what happened. Why didn't they do this? But those 5-speed 240Ds would give you exactly 30 miles per gallon if everything was working right. And according to Mercedes, a 300D turbo would give you 32 miles per gallon. A lot of people have claimed that their 240Ds delivered over 30 miles per gallon, but it depends again on what speed you're driving. At 55 miles an hour, absolutely. At 62 miles an hour, fuel economy was reported to be 32 to 33 miles per gallon. But once you start to get over 65 miles an hour, because of the amount of energy needed to drive the heavy internal parts of most diesels, this just wasn't possible. In order to solve this problem, Mercedes had to look at two areas. They had to look at the internal efficiency of the engine, how light and strong the components were, and they also had to look at the size of the car. The smaller the car, the lighter the car, the better the car. So in 1984, when Mercedes debuted the 190D 2.2 in the US market, and in 1983, when they debuted the 190D 2.0 in the European market, these cars used an engineering approach that Mercedes had never really applied before. And that approach was an emphasis on lightness and efficiency that you would have never seen with a 123 or 115 series. Now, the 115 was light in its basic form, and 200D weighed under 3,000 pounds, but it had no power steering, it had cloth seats, it had no radio, it had no air conditioning, and none of that. Meanwhile, in 1984, the 190D weighed about 3,000 pounds, but it was a loaded car. It had air, it had cruise control, it had comfortable seats. Not that the 115 seats were uncomfortable, but again, the 190D had some very durable, comfortable seats, and the car felt like a small luxury car, not some crazy, efficient, eco hatchback thing like a Dodge Omni or a Chevy Chevette. The 190 did have some economy engineering built into it, as I've said many times. McPherson struts, a plastic fan blade, plastic bumpers, lightweight cardboard door panels. I mean, the 190 still was an economy car, but in a way it was an economy car that required less getting used to. You didn't feel as poor driving it. The 190D 2.0 at around 70 miles an hour with a 5-speed transmission would return a pretty impressive 40 miles per gallon. This is on par with an E320 CDI. Now, of course, these cars probably didn't have air and they were still very basic cars, but the 190D 2.2, when it was fully loaded with a 5-speed, based on my own personal experience, was good for somewhere between 35 and 38 miles per gallon, which was outstanding at 70 miles an hour, which is approaching today's regular highway speeds. In addition, the thing that I liked about this little OM601 engine is that it didn't feel stressed out at high speeds or high RPMs like an OM616 does. As many of you know who've driven a 240D, there are speeds you just don't drive them, which would be over about 75 to 80 miles an hour. And if you have a 220D, those speeds are even lower. They're about 70, 71, 72 miles per hour. The worst part of these cars is that they were not geared for highway driving. They were geared for city driving or mountain driving. So a lot more work has to be done to make them roadable at high speeds. But the 190D had it all. It had a nice tall diff. It had a nicely spaced 5-speed overdrive gearbox. And it had the aerodynamics to make the car feel really fast. Now, where are these cars today? Well, based on what I've learned, Mercedes sold a lot of them outside of the country. So if you want one, you kind of have to look somewhere else, like in Italy or Spain or Greece or somewhere where people bought Mercedes, but they didn't buy expensive ones. Many of the cars that were sold in the United States were treated as economy cars. They weren't preserved, they weren't maintained, they weren't used in a way that, you know, ensured their survival for 40 years, and they were replaced by subsequently better versions of the 190D. In 1986, the 2.2 was replaced by the greatly improved 2.5. Fuel economy went down a little bit, but a 5-speed 2.5-liter 190D could still achieve 36 miles per gallon. Coupled with the 5-cylinder engine and some of the cosmetic and interior improvements, there was no reason to really doubt that this is a better car. Many people sold their 2.2 a few years later to buy a 2.5 non-turbo 5-speed. These were not like 240D owners, though. Many 240D owners went to go drive the 190D and said, probably not. I prefer this more rugged, durable 123 chassis car. So you did not see a lot of people going from the 123 economy cars like the 240D to the W201 economy cars. Instead, the people who would buy a W201 economy car were people that were new to Mercedes and wanted a diesel because they knew it was reliable and efficient. And for the most part, the 190D was a reliable and efficient car, but it was not the durable car that the 123 was, and that's why you don't see so many of them on the road. Now, later on, Mercedes put that OM601 engine in other cars, and these cars all competed for the same levels of efficiency. In the United States, we didn't really see much use out of the OM601 engine. It was just available for 2 years. It was supplanted by versions of the OM602 engine that got drastically better until Mercedes replaced those with the OM606. The OM606 E300 might well be the most efficient four-door Mercedes midsize sedan ever produced until, of course, the E320 CDI came out. The E300 turbo diesel was also extremely efficient, but the non-turbo version, if driven carefully, can get better fuel economy than the turbo diesel, despite the turbo diesel's 5-speed automatic. Now, if you're driving fast at high speeds, yes, the turbo diesel will outdo the E300 non-turbo, but the E300 is a very easy to service, at least compared to the E300 Turbo analog or analog-ish car. It still uses a vacuum shutoff control. It still uses an analog injection pump. It still uses some technology to change the baffling and the intake manifold, but for the most part, when all this stuff quits working, which it inevitably does and needs to be repaired, your car's not going to leave you on the side of the road like a leaking fuel shutoff valve on your E300 turbo diesel will. I've seen a lot of these cars with high miles on them, and yes, fuel economy on Mercedes diesels does decline with age and mileage. But the important thing to remember is that because they're analog cars, you can go back and repair all this stuff. It's not like the computer circuitry is degraded or the catalytic converter has become blocked. So you could still rely on these cars to deliver good fuel economy today, and that is an incentive for buying maybe a high mileage E300 diesel or a 190D 2.2 or 2.5. I hope you guys like this video. Please think about liking, sharing, and subscribing. And thank you to all of our Patreon members. We really appreciate you guys, and we hope to see you in the next video.